I'm gonna start.
What?
This will be for you now.
Vicious is incredible. You've been giving us some of the most unsettling horror for the last 2 decades, but this premise is simple, yet it's terrifyingly complex. Not terrifyingly complex, but it's terrifying and complex at the same time. Now, you've said that this idea you've had in your notebook for quite a while. What was it about this simple concept that stuck with you long enough to turn it into a movie?
I was really looking for a device, a platform, a box that could open up hell and open up kind of, what this vehicle to jumpstart a nightmare.
Sure.
And so I think it was this, I never knew exactly where the story would go or what this box would do, but every time I started a new round of brainstorming, it was always popping up. And then when the pandemic happened, suddenly I had nothing, going on. And I think as I was writing in this house in Georgia, like this Airbnb in Georgia, it started to feel like a secluded house. It started to feel like, even though it wasn't winter, it felt like, like I was locked away from the world.
Right.
And so, slowly from there, I had a vision of this woman, Polly, and then it all started to crystallize for me.
Incredible. Now, the box demands 3 sacrifices: something you need, something you hate, and something you love. How did you land on those specifically, and what does that reveal about Polly?
I mean, I think that I knew that I wanted it to be simple, and I wanted each question to, at face value, be something that you think you would answer in a second. But as Polly eventually finds out, each answer needed to be carefully considered and to dig deep. And so, I knew that Polly had a lot of layers, and I knew that Polly had a lot of faces that she shows to different people, her family, her friends, like probably to herself. And so I wanted the box very quickly for us to start to realize that the box isn't interested in any of that, and that it's wanting the stuff that she doesn't even sometimes acknowledge. And so that was kind of, once I had that as these questions and the idea of having to feed the box, I knew that it was really going to then be about me as a writer learning everything I could about Polly, and then how the box would then use that against her.
I want to talk about that a little bit, because you said something last night that really stuck with me. You said that the box almost shows up for people who need it. Do you see it more as a curse, a test, or a mirror for what characters are going through?
I mean, I think that's an interesting question. I mean, look, there's always something that's terrifying to me about randomness and wanting, not fully understanding a plan for all of us, because horrible things happen. And so I think we as a people want to try to understand why. And so I do think that the box probably goes to look for people, but I also think that it can find something in each person. Sure. And so, I think what was interesting to me about this was, you really have a story of, different women kind of passing on this to each other. And I was intrigued by that. I was intrigued on how hurt people and how pain kind of moves on and on. So, the question sometimes for me is like, did the box choose Polly, or was it fate that she answered the door?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dakota Fanning is incredible in this film. She carries so much of the weight on this film on her shoulders. What was it like directing her through some of these intense and mostly isolated performances?
I mean, what was great about Dakota is that she's in such command of her emotions that there's a beauty and a truth to it and a power, but it didn't necessarily overwhelm her to the point where she, when I called cut, that she was lost. And so we were able to really get into the finer details of of movement and camera angles, and without ever feeling like it was taking away, which is a key component for me, is like, I'd rather, you know, get the performance than the perfect shot. But I think there were times here where I was able to work with her and Tristan Nyby and their communication as well. We just became a team, and it was really because of who she is as a woman and as a talent and as a performer, and that she is so powerful and confident in who she is that we were all able to kind of know that Dakota was going to be ready for each challenge that we were giving to her.
Now, I'm noticing you have some pretty killer tattoos, and a lot of these tattoos are similar to the ones that Dakota has in the film. Is that by design?
There were a couple that I did specifically, like, it's funny, like I have one tattoo of a bee that was actually a tattoo that Zoe Kazan, I gave Zoe Kazan as a tattoo in a movie called The Monsters. So then I put that tattoo on her. And there are elements of other movies I've made also within this movie, because I do think there's a personal, like, I am somewhat, there are parts of me that are poly. And so I think it was a way for me to be even more kind of exposed, just as I wanted Polly to be exposed, as I wanted Dakota to be exposed. So I think it was a kind of a fascinating attempt at trying to kind of spill a bunch of stuff out onto the screen.
Incredible. Kathryn Hunter is incredible in this movie too. She's not in it a ton, but her presence leaves a lasting impact. Talk to me about working with her and making sure that she had that impact in the film.
I literally, you know, I saw the Macbeth that she was in, and I heard her voice, and it's the only time that's ever happened where I paused the movie and I turned to my girlfriend and I said, this is who I've been looking for the whole time, and I have to get her. And then, so the next day I spent hours online, like watching play performances, and was suddenly just blown away with this woman with this incredible voice and this incredible ability to move her body and use it as kind of a tool that was just fascinating to me. And so, you know, we reached out to her, and when she said yes, I was thrilled. And then really it was just, she had, you know, she's so tiny, but like, and you know, you compare her and Dakota in size, but like, she's doing so much and I kept telling her that I'm so excited because I feel like she's a 60-year-old woman that's becoming a movie star, and because everybody wants to be around her and work with her, and I was thrilled to have her and to get to go through this experience.
Yeah, her aura in this film is incredible. But look, Vicious is a fantastic film. The sound had me on the edge of my seat. I can't wait for people to see this on Paramount Plus. But I'm happy I got to experience it in theater. That's the way I wanted to see it. But thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, man. I
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Something you hate.